So, more sad and bad news. I had 3 little bucks. They're really not that little, but they've been coming over here and eating on the lush greens in our vacant lot that I can't seem to get bush hogged again. But they've been driving me and the dogs absolutely crazy since April. And Thursday night, even though I thought I'd solved the problem, you can see the fence bent down. Trixie went over the fence. And then Clovis, as you can see, attacked the fence. He could see that wire, but I put it behind the fence and he couldn't get to it. So he just pulled the damn wires out of the fence and finally got a hold of it and broke it. And I think he actually went through right here. He went through or went over. And I feel kind of guilty about it because Trixie, her collar wasn't working. And I had gone to the store to buy new collars and I was just like, God damn it, I'm just not buying these damn collars anymore. I'm just gonna fix the fence. And I thought I did. But somehow that overweight dog can get up over that fence. And Clovis, who is a healer, was just like Otzi, who was a healer. And it didn't matter what kind of collar I put on Otzi, and apparently it didn't matter what kind of collar I put on Clovis. They could take that shock. So Trixie was gone and he was gonna go with her. And he went over there and attacked that fence, broke those wires until it wouldn't shock him anymore. And then he went over. And something about that night, I just had a really bad feeling. And I got in the truck and looked and looked and looked. I looked from about 12 o'clock till 2:30. I couldn't find it. I drove all over the place. Next morning, phone rings. I knew, I didn't know it was coming. I had a bad feeling, but I thought somebody had them. The woman, she calls and she asked if I'm missing a dog, and I said, yeah. She said, well, there's one crawled up in her back porch and was asleep when she woke up this morning. And I told her I was missing 2. She said, well, it's only 1. And right then I knew, because those 2 were inseparable. I said, I just knew, he was hit by a car. So I went to get Trixie. And on the way to get Trixie, I got another phone call. And a woman said, was I missing a dog? And I said, yes. I said, well, probably the one you had. And she said, well, I'm sorry, I don't have him, but I did find him. He didn't make it. He's dead on the side of the road. So I scooped him up, went and got Trixie, and then just lost my shit, as usual. And I haven't had that dog in 8 or 9 months. we didn't even begin to start making memories. I know he aggravated the piss out of me, chewed everything up. He was a good dog though. He had a lot of potential. I just haven't had any time to do anything other than fuck with that woman's house. Well, there's an idiot getting ready to get. People are stupid. But yeah, so Clovis is gone. What I was thinking about Clovis being a healer, and I was thinking about Oatsy. And this story is also on my list of stories I was going to write about. So Oatsy, he was a blue heeler mixed with a hound, just like Clovis. And when I got that dog, he was just he was basically a rescue dog. My friend of mine said he knew of a healer. Took me to this guy's house. This dude must have had 150 dogs, deer hounds, all pinned up and caged. Just psychotic. You can't run them. Anyway, so I got Oatsy. Brought him home, cleaned him up, introduced him to the pack, which at the time was, I think at the time it was just Ishi. And, he was a pup. But as he started getting bigger, he started getting jealous of me. And he and Ishi had to work out who the top dog was. And they would fight. I'm not talking about a little scuffle. Those two would fight, and they would fight to the death. I can't tell you the number of times I had to go out there. Oatsy was like a pit bull in the sense that once he grabbed a hold of something, it didn't really matter what was happening to him, he wasn't letting go. And there were several times I had to go out there and get my hand in his collar and wrench it up and just knock him unconscious because he would not let go of some part of Ishi. But he was just he was a wild dog. I took him hunting one day, and they would run together as a team. But Ishi, he knew Ishi was a special dog. He knew what was going on, and he knew where the hunt was and where the standards were. So if he was running a deer and it got out of the block, he'd quit. He'd come on back, he'd run him again. But Oatsy, like Clovis, just run and run and run and run. Anyway, so I lost him out there in Farmville, Prospect. I looked for him and looked for him and looked for him. I couldn't find that dog. 2 or 3 weeks passed, and I said, well, he's just dead. He got hit by a car or something. I'll never see him again. One of the guys' property that we hunted, came up in conversation one morning. He said, yeah, I saw your dog. He was running across the back pasture with a dead cat. So I started looking again. And lo and behold, one of the other guys' property beside there, I was looking around there and pulled up in his driveway and said, well, I'm looking for this dog, blue heeler. He said, oh yeah, he comes up every morning. I said, what? He said, yeah, every morning he comes up and he brings me a dead cat. What are you talking about? He said, yeah, every morning he runs it. There's they're old tobacco barns. All these feral cats are down there. So Oatsy's just living the life of a hound dog in the woods, killing cats, and bringing them up to this guy and dropping them off. You know, this guy take the cats, chuck them over the woods or whatever. Oatsy bring him another one the next day. Anyway, so I get Oatsy back. And first time my mom got cancer, she was down at the bay. We had to go visit her. And it's something, just had that feeling again. Something wasn't right. It just wasn't. I just couldn't deal with these dogs and everything I was trying to deal with. But I went. Ishi and Oatsy. And we were staying at Sheila Rose Cottage. I forget why. We couldn't stay at our cottage. But I opened the door to get out of the car, and those two dogs bum rushed me, about knocked me on my ass, and they were gone. And I figured, hell, I'm at Bayvon, all these marshes, they'll just run around and won't be any big deal. I get a call the next morning. So, the collar's got my name on it, my number, my buddy's name, and his number. My buddy calls. I guess his number was first. He said, Kevin, animal control has got Ishi and Oatsy, and they're getting ready to shoot him. I said, what the hell are you talking about? He said, I just got a call from the animal control officer. Apparently your two dogs attacked a horse, tag teaming this horse. Animal control's coming out there and you're going to shoot your dogs. I would lose my shit. So I get the number of the animal control officer. I call her. She's got the two dogs in the pen, in her truck, taking them to the kennel. And it's a week, she's going to put both the dogs down because they were attacking livestock. So I'm just losing my shit. I don't want to lose either one of my dogs. She says, she tells me that Oatsy got kicked in the head and was bleeding and hurt. Do I want to provide medical attention? I was like, well, I'm not going to provide medical attention if you're going to turn around tomorrow and kill him. What are my options? She says, you don't have any options. Dog attacks livestock. It's got to be put down. So I try and hire this attorney to stop all this shit so I can figure out what the hell's going on. That doesn't pan out. So finally, my only options, I contacted the owner of the horse directly. And I contacted the animal control, the chief officer, not the woman that caught the dogs. But I asked him, I said, look, I know what's going on. I said, Ishi wasn't involved in this. Oatsy is just a lunatic. He's a healer. He thinks he's supposed to herd things. And he got in that corral with that horse. And every time that horse tried to go in the stable, and he told me, that little 45-pound dog would jump up and grab that horse right by the end of his nose and shake and shake and shake until he brought that horse down to his knees. Somewhere in the process, the horse kicked him in the head, but he kept right on attacking him. The owner of the horse came out there. He was trying to get the horse in the stable, and Oatsy jumped up there and hit that horse again, and man, that basically ripped his damn end of his nose off. But I told the animal control officer if I could work a deal with the horse owner, sacrifice one dog to save the life of the other. He said if I could get the homeowner to do it, he would make it happen, but I could never bring that dog back in the county again. So I wrote the horse owner a letter, and I went to meet him. Lost my shit again, just begged and pleaded. I said, no. And I asked him, I said, if you think about it, did you ever see Ishi attacking that horse? He said no. And Clovis was the one covered in blood. Clovis did the attacking. I said, Clovis, I understand, has to suffer the consequence, but please don't kill Ishi. And he hemmed and hawed, and he was saying that he was the victim, and I said, I understand. I said, this is a family dog. I tried to save Otzi, but he's just gone wild and wasn't anything. I said, just please don't kill Ishi. So he agreed. But I had to tell the kids that Clovis was killed by the horse. That the horse kicked him in the head and killed him. Because I didn't want them to know that I was going to have to kill him to save Ishi's life. The sad part was when I went Sunday evening to get Ishi, I had Hunter with me. And Hunter thought Otzi was dead, killed by the horse. But he wasn't dead yet. He was in a pen. And he heard my truck. And he started screaming bloody murder for me to come get him. And Hunter heard him and said, Dad, that dog almost sounds like Otzi. And I said, yeah, isn't that strange? And I turned and started crying. I didn't want That dog was begging me to save him. And I couldn't do it. I had to save Ishi. So I got Ishi back. They killed Clovis. They killed Otzi. But like I said, I had a lot of high expectations for Clovis because I got him as a puppy. And I could train him not to be a psycho dog. But because I've just been so busy, I didn't have the time to work with him like I should have. had time enough to teach him how to run deer, and that's what he knew. And those 3 little bucks over there just aggravating the piss out of him. He did the only thing I taught him, I guess, run a deer. He ran that deer all the way to the retention pond on Panetta. I guess on his way back, he was crossing that little bridge and somebody plastered him. Anyway. Maybe he and Ishi and Otzi are up there running deer somewhere, but there aren't any cars.